So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be? Or in other words, conquer their dyslexia. That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. Hello guys, I hope we're doing alright. I want to send a little message to you, something I've been thinking about for quite a long time. Only a few days, but it's been going on in my head over and over about. And what this is, it relates to problems that people go through day to day, and I've been having a lot of problems going through day to day. Basically, how I define a problem is okay, you want to do this thing, okay, these are the action steps to do it, and it makes total sense, okay, I'll do this, and this. And then when those actions that doesn't happen, or it doesn't make sense, or for example, you do A, B, and C, and then B, you done B, and then you move on to C, and when that thing gets done, but B didn't work at work the way you thought it would, and make total no sense. It's confusing and it's frustrating, and it's just that. And I've been having loads of those because what I've been obsessed about over the last couple of weeks and months really is something called Finish the Book Challenge now. And basically, because I if you don't know, I learned to read a couple months ago. You mean despite all the help, despite all that, I just learned to read a couple months ago. Read like everyone else. Physically in my brain, I can look at a word, I can read the word just like that. And it feels amazing. And so basically, I've tested it out a couple of times and I want to give it to a lot of people. So I created a certain thing like Finish the Book Challenge, working really hard on basically a framework. So anyone can join in it and in 30 days, start and finish a book they've never been able to read, they want to read, and not just for them to finish a book, for them to change your identity about what they can do. Anyway, I'm so excited about that, and me putting things together, and I always try and do things, do this and that, and work on loads of other stuff. And I remember doing it, and basically having basically this page I'm on with the selling, basically with this page I'm doing basically with all these different products. I'm trying to get the e-covers done, and there's a big problem getting the e-covers. And what e-covers is basically like when you see a book, when you see on the internet about get this book or get this, it's just a cover of a book, or might be like a 3D image of a book. That's an e-cover. And so basically, you can pay people to have it done for you. You can do it yourself. I'm not good at doing that, so I pay people. And there's a lot of moving parts. And when it doesn't work, I can get really frustrated. And when things not working, and it happens when you're doing something, online or something digital, it makes so much sense, and then it doesn't work. Or with Facebook, loads of problems that we have, and these are just my problems right now, but basically the dyslexic problems that we all have. Like for example, in school with me, remembering names of other people, with reading, with the writing, with spelling errors, losing a job because they just keep spelling the words the wrong way. All these things that we come up with challenges. And in this little podcast, I want to talk to you about basically how these challenges we have can actually be our strengths because of the challenges, because of the nature of the challenges themselves. And because this stuff I need to remind myself again and again and again and again, because it is so hard doing something and you think it would work and you try your best and yet it doesn't work. It's so hard to feel like that and to experience that and try and turn it into a positive. You're joking. To try and pose this negative feeling into a positive, this negative situation into a positive, you're joking. But there's something that I learned a while back from mentors Tony Robbins. Loads of people could say it, but he says it the best, don't he? But it's about how to deal with problems. Is that basically what he says is the biggest problem in the world is that people think they shouldn't have any. The biggest problem people have is they think they shouldn't have any. Now this is like a metaphor, twisted way of saying problems are a sign of life. We have problems. Everyone has problems. The only people who have problems are people in the graveyard. Tony Robbins learned it from someone. But basically this is saying problems happen. Every day you have problems. Problems are just not having something the way you want it. and trying to fix that problem. It's a sign of life. You have different quality of problems. You may look at some person that's got loads of businesses during this COVID problem and think, oh well, they're lucky, they got money, they got security, all these things. I'm struggling to feed my family. Those are different problems. But it's not the problems that we have that define us. It's what we do with the problems that we have. And I know you probably heard that, oh, that's inspirational and all that. But I'm really coming from a point of conversation, from a point of not just rattling on some speech or something that I've heard someone else say, but actually how I use it in my life and how you can use it in yours. Because the circumstances in your life don't define you. It's what you do with the circumstances that define you. And it's just fact. It's about what you do with the rubbish that happens in your life that defines you. It's how you approach it. It's what you do with it. Because two people can have exactly the same dyslexion, exactly the same situations, but one person can do different things with that situation in that environment and be a completely different person. Someone else completely end up in a completely negative way. And that's true. And you know it's true. If you're honest with yourself, you know it's true. And what's the determining factor? It's themselves. It's themselves the determining factor. It's a determining factor about how they can take responsibility of their life, about moving forward, about, okay, this problem's happened. Yes, it may seem unfair. Yes, I got, my job got kicked out or whatever. Yes, this grade didn't work. And yes, I may have got screwed over in the here or here. But it's what you do with that counts. It's now what's the next step you're going to do. Because with my life, I don't know what's going to happen at all. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I may think, okay, this isn't the path I'm on, but if this path, if there's a roadblock, if something makes it impossible, I don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know is who I am. What I do know is I will find a way. What I do know is, yes, things will be hard. Yes, I'll feel off kilter. Yes, I'll feel uncomfortable, but they will find a way. I will find a way to do something. I will find a way to make it. Because put it like this. For example, if you can't do something, if you keep on trying to do it, and you fail, there's always a way around it, if that makes sense. There's always a way. For example, I would never, ever, ever believe a dyslexic person can write a book. Like, it's a really dyslexic person that still can't write 3 words in a row without them being misspelled. I have no idea how that person can write a book with not a lot of money, with not a lot of things. But then you find a way. There's the ways around the problem. And then I did write a book. But for example, I always look at problems. There's 2 ways around a problem, and every problem is solvable. Everything's figure outable. For example, we have a problem. There's 2 ways I can approach a problem. 1, physically solve the problem. For example, when you kind of either physically solve it by you get better your skill, or you find someone else with the skills to get better. For example, I wanted to write a book. How did I physically solve the problem? Not by learning to spell every single word in the English alphabet perfect, but by finding someone else who's passionate and dyslexic as me and helping me spelling my best. It's like spend hundreds of hours spell correcting my book, and that was a lucky find. But that I worked a way around the problem. So you can either solve the actual problem, or you can change the way you think about the problem. Does that make sense? You can change the way you think about it. For example, oh no, I can't write a book, but I want to get this message out there. Let's look at all these other avenues I can do. Let's try this, or let's try and think of it a different way. Let's try and serve people in a slightly different demographic. Like okay, get into teaching. I can get into doing these Facebook lives or doing podcasts like I'm doing as well, and doing all these different things. I can get into doing loads of different stuff. Because that's basically changing your approach, changing the way you think about it. Does that make sense, guys? I'm trying to offer some new insights and add some value in new ways. But the fundamental thing is every problem you figure out, but you can solve every problem, and it's how we deal with the problems that matter. The fundamental thing is you. What you're going to do is, because everyone in life has had your problem. Well, I mean everyone. There's people in the world that has had the same problem that you have and solved it. There's people out there that can relate to what you're doing. There's people out there with similar circumstances or even worse circumstances who came through it. It is possible to overcome these things. It is possible. But it's figuring out how to actually do that, because I want to be because I do really want to, in these podcasts and these things, I want to be vulnerable. I want to just talk about how it's actually going, because I'm obsessed with trying to change the dyslexia industry to really empower people to realise the truth. And I'm obsessed with that. And that's kind of my mission and what I'm heading towards. But I want to be open and stuff, because I'm doing all these things, having this challenge and all book. I've got so many ideas down the line. I'm working towards them. But like at the weekend, because I worked, like basically I had my full-time job and done loads of this stuff, posting podcasts, doing a lot of stuff. And then it came to the weekend, and then Saturday I worked good, and I was tired from like 6 p.m, 5 p.m. onwards. I was really, really tired. So basically I was like, okay, I need a rest, because I physically do. I knew I wasn't cognitively have a good ability. So I had a bath, went to bed early, done all that. And I woke up Sunday really refreshed. I was like, okay, today I'm going to do work, do all my different things. I love going to Costa, because if I go to Costa, I can work. And it was a really struggle for me, not when Costa was closed. It's like, that's my thing. But yeah, so at Costa I was working, and I worked for that till about 2 p.m. From I can't remember what time it was. From like 10 to 2, I think, or 9 to 2, I can't remember. 9 to 2. Then I went home. And I had all these things I wanted to do to get done before the week starts, but I didn't get them done. And it was very painful for me for not staying true of who I know I am. And I've been, to be honest, beating myself up from now, because now it's Monday. Now I went to work, I was, I didn't look it, but I wasn't happy. I was miserable at work. I was saying, you should have done this. Do you mean, don't scroll on social media, don't waste time, you need to impact people, all this stuff. And then I sort of, as I'm growing and realising things, look, I can't push myself to try and do this thing. I can't push myself to do this Facebook Live and post on this podcast. I can't push myself to do all these rubbish or do all this stuff. I have to look forward to doing it, because that's what I realise about myself. It's just learning about myself, and you should learn about yourself. But realising who you are, what sort of person you are, and how you tick. And basically, I'm learning this because I always used to push myself. I used to be really harsh on myself and never really get anywhere and just beat myself up. And it went through a terrible experience in the past of really physically, like, it was bad. But then being in such a down state and down situation, really realising I have to change the way I think about myself. And not thinking I have to be perfect every single time, every single day, I have to be perfect. And really take a step back and realising that's negative. That's not working. That's not getting me towards where I want to be. If I love myself, if I'm take my time, take care of myself, if I appreciate and look forward to things I want to do, then I'll get so much more done, and 2, I'll be happier as a person. And basically, there's a question I want you to ask yourself, which I think will be really valuable, and it kind of relates to all these things, and I ask myself it a lot. What is your potential? And I don't see people ask this question a lot or promoting it, but ask this question like without your excuses. If you could take a step back outside of yourself and really look at yourself, okay, what is your full potential? Not what you want to do and all these things, just about, okay, what is your actual human potential, the limit, the absolute maximum 100% of your life? And I'm thinking completely holistically, not just success, but you mean happiness, fulfillment, you mean your relationships, your relationship with yourself. What is the ultimate potential, the maximum, like the 100%? What is that? And 100, like this, there's no question this, it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely, yeah. Like, as human beings are incredible people. You're incredible. If you ask yourself this and then really realize, come in to your life now, think about, wow, all these things I can do, all these things I can accomplish, I can succeed, and all these things are amazing. And it's just going towards them and doing that. And asking this question really opens you up to your potential. And then once you're inside yourself, inside like your body, and then you start to notice things like, okay, I want to do this, but there's this barrier and this barrier and this barrier, all these problems. But remember, it's what you do with the problems that count. It's not the problems. The problems don't define you. It's you. It's what you do with the circumstances. Because remember that there's a lot of people that have been in your same situation or worse situations than you that came out of it stronger. And also, the hard times often make you the person you are today. because we've got dyslexia, we have something called the gift of grit. And what the gift of grit is, the gift of grit is basically something called resilience. It's meaning that we've tried and failed so much before in the past, we can try and fail again and we don't feel bad about it. That we're strong, that we can work harder than everyone else. Because we've worked twice, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times harder than everyone else to get where we are, guess what? We can carry on working at the same intensity and feel it normal compared to everyone else, and we just outmaneuver them and outdo them. We can do that because we have the capabilities, because we've struggled before in the past. And struggle is not negative. It may feel uncomfortable, it might feel nice, but it's not a negative in the long run. It's not negative. Struggle is natural. It's a natural part of life. But it's what we do in the struggle comes that make us who we are. Because if we don't do anything, if we basically let it use us, then guess what? We'll let it define us. We'll let the struggle, the dyslexia define us instead of us actually using dyslexia. Alright guys, I hope we really got some value from this, and I really want to show the inside scoop about sort of like, because I want to look back on this 10 years from now thinking, wow, look at these things and look at this. And anyway guys, hope we're doing good. And yeah, I hope these things are getting better and I'm learning and I'm growing. And guys, take care and bye.